This is Bill Kimler, co-host of the Black, White, and Blue in the South podcast. This Halloween, stand out from the crowd with ZJZDesigns.com. Their brand new limited edition spooky prints are here to haunt your wardrobe in the best way possible. With 5 new chilling designs, you'll be ready for trick-or-treating, haunted houses, and everything this spooky season has to offer. Whether you're getting festive for the holidays or just looking for unique, high-quality designs to up your style game, ZJZDesigns.com has you covered. Shop now at ZJZDesigns.com and discover the t-shirts that'll make you stand out in any season. Don't get caught without the coolest Halloween t-shirt. Grab yours before they disappear. ZJZDesigns.com.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to the All About Nothing podcast. I am Barrett Gruber. This is episode number 274. And in just a minute, I'm going to send myself over to the Hall of Horrors at the KC West Columbia Jaycees. And I'm going to be sitting down with O'Shawn and Shelby again this year for the 2025 haunt season. We're going to be talking about everything under the sun, some things we haven't talked about before, but we're going to get a look at what it is that goes into basically a haunted attraction like this. But we're also going to talk about specifics that they had to go through for this year's haunt. So stick around here, and it's going to be cutting to that here in just a minute. Please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member and proudly calling yourself a true nothinger. We'll have more details on that at the end of the show, but if you could, do give us a 5-star review, a like, follow us across all social media. You can find links at theallaboutnothing.com. And if you like the show enough, do me a favor, go to our Facebook page. There, you can give a review. But we would love to get your review, positive, negative, whatever. Just head over to our Facebook page and do that for us. Also, check out some of the content we put out there because, you know, we work semi-hard at it. Yeah, semi-hard. Yeah, I'm going to say we put some effort into it. So if you could do that. Also, real quick, want to thank Donnie Suppley, who is the president of the United Way for Kershaw County, for sitting down with me in the last episode. That was just a few days ago. If you haven't heard that yet, go do that. Fantastic story, fantastic person, and what it is that the United Way does to support the community, Kershaw County and surrounding areas here in the Midlands of South Carolina. Please go check that out. They are in their campaign season right now. Also want to thank broadstreet.net for basically putting all of that together and helping us out with that. So if you could, please go do that. Check it out. I'm going to send this over now to our good friends Shelby and O'Shawn at the Hall of Horrors in KC West Columbia. All right, we are here at the KC West Columbia Jaycees Hall of Horrors. I'm sitting with O'Shawn and Shelby once again for 2025. Welcome, guys, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to our humble abode.
Yeah, welcome back.
A lot of work has already gone into it this year.
More work than anybody knows.
Yeah.
For mostly 2 people. We definitely have like a lot of people, but well, not a lot of people. But
They come in when we're done.
they come in at
They get the show experience.
yeah.
So how much of what has gone on has mostly been the efforts of just the 2 of you or just one of you?
Where do we
Everything.
start?
Oh.
So as we've talked about in the past, we start with our story breakdown. So that starts months ago. So that's been in the works. Story goes into, planning our rooms, our characters. That helps us, push the story along. So it's been months in the making. So
I got to be a part of one of those planning sessions
Yeah, you
at one
did.
point where
And then we phased you out.
yeah, completely phased me out. Never heard another single thing. And I think, and we'll just go back to it. Last year we recorded before the haunt opened. We actually recorded that episode twice because the first time there was an issue with audio.
Second time there was an issue with audio.
Yeah, and so I'm going to give my side of the story.
Okay.
And that is that I listened to all 3 microphones and found audio coming out of all of them. We were sitting in another room on a couch that is now hanging from the ceiling
Yes, it is.
But we were sitting on that couch, and when I took my headphones off to sit down next to you guys, at some point in the transition, there was no more audio coming out of the microphone that O'Shawn was holding.
Is this a microphone that you yourself have to cut on and off?
Yeah.
So can we assume
That we have
someone?
ghosts. Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is
There is a
exactly what I'm
ghost in this
thinking.
place.
This place is absolutely haunted.
It is haunted against you.
So yeah. So I will just defend myself in saying that when I put the microphones on the couch, there was audio coming out of them. O'Shawn?
So what happened the second time, Barrett?
That was the second time. The first time I don't want to talk about. The first time was my problem. That was my fault. The first recording session was completely my fault. I don't remember the circumstances. I'm old. I don't, my memory fades. But I will fall on that sword. It was my fault.
You know what? And I love an accountable king, so we'll take it. We'll take it.
Well, either way, we have improved our situation. There are bumps and things going
There's
on.
a ghost. No, our
They're trying to
building.
silence us again.
Oh my God, no! No, it's the breakers. They go. We have so much stuff plugged in around here,
okay.
so they click on and off
Gotcha.
the entire time we're in here.
So this year's theme, what are we looking at?
So we do have a name for it, but you kind of have to explain the theme because she's a unique mashup. But the theme is grave secrets, and it's kind of telling a little bit. Like obviously, it sounds haunting. But we go into with our podcast where I tapped you for questions and then kicked you out to the side.
Yeah.
But so it's going to be kind of like a true crime following of, the story of someone had a funeral home, didn't dispose of people properly. So now the spirits are trapped, but they're also trapped in their times. So it gives a lot of it has levels for sure. And some of them are going to be very eerie and some of them are going to be like just downright in your face, gory type things. So it's a lot of different stuff, which I'm excited about, actually. Instead of sticking to like one thing, we kind of got to mesh up about 3 things. So
think of kind of like an AHS meets like true crime podcast kind of thing, where it's like you hear about, because we wanted to bring the level of like, I'm a huge like podcast person, hence us sitting here with you today. But then I also listen to over 40 hours a week of podcasts.
Sure.
40
like a
hours
full-time
of podcasts
job.
a week, almost like while I'm at my full-time job. So
that was
Totally just got the idea for your podcast. You should absolutely review other podcasts.
honestly, is anybody doing that?
I'm sure there is, but regardless,
not as loud as you.
We'll do it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of the antithesis of it all, where it's like, all right, people love true crime. So it's like, all right, you'll kind of get that little mini backstory behind this haunted location. And then you yourself get to visit the haunted location. So like Shelby said, there are a lot of layers, probably way more layers than need to be. And that have kept me up countless hours trying to like stringboard it all together in my brain, which is not working very well, but we're trying. It all got vomited into the show. So
It's working really well. This is going to be a crazy aunt. Shut your ass up.
oh my God. Yeah. What she said.
So the Hall of Horrors opens this year, the first week in October. How our schedule this year, we're going to look Friday, Saturday, or we're going to have some extra days in there.
We throw in a bunch of extra days throughout the week to kind of diversify the show. Like we do some blackout nights on Thursdays specifically. We'll add Sundays as we get closer to the end of the year because people are more amped up to be out and about at that time. And then, of course, we run through Halloween. This year, we're going to add 2 more dates somewhere in there.
Oh,
Don't know where yet. Be little pop-in days, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I was going to say all that on hallofhorrors.org, but also the story that's got so many crazy layers, hallofhorrors.org.
If you like a good read,
If you like a good read, I've been told that it is a very good read. So
How much of what you all do as far as the story, is it everything coming off from you all as creating the story? Do we dabble in Chat GPT or any AI?
I mean, of course, everyone does
Okay.
to get the wording right, but I will say my favorite part of creating that story is it's the middle of the night calls where we're both trying to think of concepts for the year. So like we'll call each other with those like ideas and it's like either talk me off the ledge or like help me filter through what I'm trying to say. And we really do a really good job of meshing it up together. So it's both of our brains on paper, which is horrifying. But then Chat GPT comes in and cleans it up for us.
when I tell you, I actually I'm super inspired. And I was telling her a few months ago that at the convention that we go to every year, Transworld, I was like, I've never been a speaker at the convention, but I've thought about it because I feel like ChatGPT used in the haunt industry, I'm sure people are doing it. Like, it's nothing new. You use it however you see fit. But
Yeah.
in terms of like just planning a haunted attraction, it has changed things in a way that like, it allows us to continue being creative without that like roadblock that will tend to kind of get defeated in for a little bit. So it's like, hey, we'll come up with the concept, but like help us drive it home. And then it's like, hey, even just from, scheduling your actors or like, there are just so many levels to the business that ChatGPT helps with. And of course I pay for a membership because I want, the best quality that I can get out of it. But it's a game changer for sure. So.
Yeah. One of the things I do want to ask about, because we've always talked about the haunt and the story and all the work that goes into it, but I don't think we've ever actually talked about the logistics part of putting on something like this that you work almost 6-7 months on getting this together. I mean, the actual physical work, but as well the whole process. You take off a month? Maybe?
No.
I was gonna say that sounds fun. Yeah, I think we do that whole lull, like holiday lull, just because we definitely need to give our brains a break, give the actors a break, give like us a break from each other, which isn't really a thing, but
It is. We take a solid month and don't talk, but it's because we're best friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one of those like when we come back together, we're stronger than ever.
No, I know. I'll be on the phone with O'Shawn and I'll say something nasty about Shelby, and she's right here.
I'm gonna three-way her in. Yep.
Yeah, it's like a Mean Girls where she's actually three-wayed in on.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
think I'm selfish.
So,
but yeah, on the logistics side of it,
so to start, what's the first thing that has to happen?
Oh God, loaded question. So I guess it just depends on where you're set up and your city ordinances and all of that. But for us specifically, we do have to have a permit to function for the special event, even though it's at our location. We have to have our own insurance for it. We have to get a fire watch because we do not have a sprinkler system in our building, but they grandfathered us in under that because they really love us here. Outside of that, like on our own personal shtick, like we do something called a hospitality tax grant. And we apply for it for that year. We're reimbursed the following year. And each year it can be its own hassle. This year was the biggest struggle I had with it. But after like getting face to face with the situation, being assertive, we were able to figure it out and move on past that. That kind of put a little snag on it for a second, but stress less after that. Like we can breathe now, so we're good to go. But outside of that, more on the logistics, or is that good?
Logistics, like no, well, like first thing you start doing is obviously the breakdown from the year before.
Yeah. So, well, I guess again, the setup logistically for this is I have to get in contact with our cities so they can come and inspect us.
Yeah.
Whatever is not up to par, they give us a list and we fix it. And then they come back and do it again. They need a floor plan, evacuation plan, parking plan, a permit plan, a bathroom plan, and I'm not even lying about that one. And then, yeah, the rest after that's easy. That's just the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, so city permits, everything like that.
And I don't know what I would do without this lady right here, because when it comes to planning, getting things done, I always joke and say that's my heavy, because it's true. Like,
because I'm mean.
The muscle, the mean, the everything that I'm not, like that 1000%. So
when do you all actually start the deconstruction of last year's?
I've already started.
You've already started next year's deconstruction today.
No, we get into the thoughts of next year, but true decon doesn't start until about March, really. And that's because we come in and get a lay of everything with fresh eyes after taking a break, and we take about a month to come up with concepts and room design and what we want to switch around, what we might want to keep or try to keep. And it takes us a solid month to break down, I think.
And I think that's the biggest thing to kind of answer the question a little better in terms of how the planning can kick off. It depends on what we do the year prior. So initially this year, I wanted to tear down that gorgeous, beautiful house that is my 100% baby that I love. But Shelby wouldn't let me. She was just like, nope, we got to run it another year. So I think this is the third year now that it'll be in use. So it's kind of like coming up with a concept that'll work around that. So it's like, okay, it was a farmhouse for 2 years. Now what else makes sense in a house that we haven't really done or that we can kind of make original? So it's like, all right, we got a house. back in the day, or maybe even still today, you can use a house as a funeral home. So where can we take that and go? And then there was actually a story in the news around the time that the story got developed where it had resurfaced. It was an older story, but the story about like the couple that was like stealing people and not actually burying them and not giving them back
That guy,
or whatever. So that was the catalyst. I was like, that is actually a really creepy idea. So
God, I thought he was going to say
how can
good and say, don't say that.
it depends on who you ask and when. But yeah, so it was like, all right, take that concept, but how can we spin it for a haunt to where we can like make multiple rooms and characters? So it's like, all right, well, he's not giving the bodies back. Instead, he's turning them into museum style figures because he's just a creep and like he just loves to see, you know, doesn't want to give up the
Say it, Whoopi. Say it. He doesn't want to give up the ghost. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be able to function without
Yeah.
that being there.
Now, it reminds me, so you don't hear a whole lot of stories about things that go wrong at funeral homes and stuff like that, or, you know, like illegal things going on. I don't hear it. It's not my feed.
Oh.
But I'm reminded of in North Georgia, there was a funeral home that for, I want to say a couple decades was taking in bodies, was supposed to be cremating them. And rather than cremating them was just shoving them out the back door basically into a valley.
That sounds like that story though.
This one was from Ohio and it was very similar though, but instead of like cremating and returning remains, he was giving people quickcrete. And that is the most horrific thing. Like if it were me and I've been like cherishing this jar of concrete, I probably would not have been as calm.
Wiser than
I cremated my dog, and I swear to God, if that's what's in that jar, I'm gonna cause some trouble.
I feel like it's wrong to laugh at this, but the good news is the people that watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, they're not the canceling type, so it's not.
Oh, thanks, you guys.
Come and see us in October.
So all right, so we start planning. We have the ideas for what it is we're gonna do. How is it that you come about with all of the material that it takes to build a haunt like this? Because there's a lot here. I mean, like if you were to measure it, we're talking tons and tons of wood. And
now, do you want the real answer or do you want the...
So we're giving them the real answer.
Well, this year was a specific challenge because of, I don't know if we're going to get into the like details. I'll leave that to you, but basically the hurdles that we had to overcome this year, one was a budgetary one where it was like, how do we recycle as much as we can? So, you know, last year we may have just been like, hey, money to the wind, checkbook is free. And then this year it's like everything that we spent last year, how can we like actually?
I wouldn't say that. Last year we invested because we really needed new things for us to be able to
things like that.
Do all of this again. But yeah, this year that investment trickled into this year. And so while this way, like we have AC in here now, and that's a godsend. And we got a new fridge out there that's not plugged up yet, but
I saw that.
We did a lot of like fixing here to the actual establishment. So it's one of those things that when it comes over into this year without other projects going on, it's harder to maintain our bills sometimes. So with that happening, we recycled a lot, upcycled a lot. And I am a frequent dumpster diver, so I'm not afraid of it.
I totally thought you were going to say, well, there's a Lowe's on Highway 1 that's left unlocked sometimes.
No,
honestly,
but
we might want to check it out.
No, we have a friend that works there, and anytime there's really good deals, she'll hit me up. That's where I was earlier today, getting all their $2 spray paints that were on sale that are really good colors, by the way.
So for example, like last year, the facade that was out back, that barn facade, essentially all that lumber and everything got dismantled. And I know a lot of haunts that had bigger budgets, they're just like, you know, throw it all in a dumpster. It is what it is. But instead we're like, now I got to spend a day taking this all back apart, unscrewing it, which is why we use screws, not nails. We learned that lesson the hard way. But then it's like, all right, now we have a whole bunch of 2x4s. We've got a bunch of plywood or whatever it is to reuse in spaces. And specifically this year, I'm really proud of a lot of the projects that we got done because our focus was more on making everything more detailed. So that's the one thing that I love our show to death, but like, I'm just like, something feels off about this. It feels either empty or it feels whatever. So this year, taking that focus and, you know, not tearing down a bunch of stuff and actually improving upon the sets that, you know, are quote unquote like showpieces.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so a lot of, like she said, upcycling, recycling, dumpster diving, Facebook marketplacing, donations, stuff like that. Struggles of a nonprofit.
Or we're not poor, we're eco-friendly. Yeah, we're doing this for the
I
ecosystem.
love
And
the rebrand.
Yeah.
You are just, this is the
we gotta
girl.
make safe face.
So when this year, when you came together with a story, you started working on how you wanted the layout to be, things like that. What were, besides the money and having to figure out how to do what you wanted to do, were there other additional hurdles that you were finding? As far as, you know, you both have full-time jobs. You have children. O'Shawn is...
He's got a dog.
I got a dog and a hat.
Tony doesn't count.
But I mean, I don't understand how this all comes together with the available time that you have.
We don't either.
Well, so to, I guess, touch on that, because you're right, the life outside of here, it has to take precedent because, you know, we're obligated to other responsibilities. But another hurdle that was like, it started off our year was like just being really drug out by what we do and how we do it and how we're expected to do it every year. And while it's great, we do it for a specific reason as it pertains to our nonprofit. We do it and we ended up here just in general in our lives because we love this kind of stuff. So in a perfect world, yeah, I would take this and run and own my own for-profit and be like big name. But, you know, it's where I'm at, it's where it's available, and I get to do what I want here creatively without killing a budget.
Or answering to anyone except for us, realistically. So it's that whole like, hey, wanting to be a designer of sorts, a like artist or whatever. It's that creative outlet, which, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So in that process that you're talking about, like when it starts so early, a period of that when we are down is a lot of me calling her like, I'm just really not feeling it. I don't like,
I want to quit.
Creative block. Like I'm just not as inspired as like I feel like I've been in the past or whatever, which again, that switch flipped at some point this year. And then now we're full steam ahead. But there are definitely those like struggles where it's like, what are we going to do next? What's going to set us apart? How can we be different? What are some like things that we can evolve in the show? Kind of like you had mentioned earlier when we walked through, like it feels longer. That's one thing that we've heard from a lot of people, which again, our footprints never changed, but all we can do is like snake you around a corner one more time or make you like crawl under a thing or like something to impact, you know, the length of the show as best as we can. So it's, all of those are struggles and challenges, but we get over it. And I think
mentally, I guess that would have been the short answer. Mentally.
Yeah.
Actors this year, I assume, fully staffed with volunteers.
Yeah, I've heard from, I do the actor management. So they've been on the train of like, when are we getting started? When are the classes? Yada, yada, yada. So this Sunday is actually going to be our first one. And somebody got some very professional training and brought it back with him. So we're going to try to give that information to feed these haunt babies and make them even better.
Well, tell us about that. What is that?
Well, I'm glad that she did bring that up because it was something that was on my mind, but like my brain rabbit trails again. You ask how we do it, I don't sleep. That's literally how, like, I leave here. I have to be at work at 5 a.m. for my regular job.
Right.
And this last week, I've been leaving here at 3:30 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Like last night, we didn't leave till almost midnight. So like, I just don't sleep.
Last night I was like, let's go home and take a nap.
Yeah, we were just like, all right, hey, you ready? I'm ready. Let's go. But as far as like actor training, that's one thing that I really like. We can make the show look great and everything, but one thing that I've always wanted to do a lot better than we have in the past: costuming, makeup, actor training. Our actors are already great on their own, but to give them that little bit of edge is what like I like this Sunday, like she said, I was already planning it today. Thanks, ChatGPT. But already planning I've got cool names for it. I'm not gonna put it on the podcast now because copyright.
Come volunteer if you want to know the inside scoop.
Yeah. So I went to North Carolina a few weekends ago. They had a haunter in social media. I'm surprised if I didn't find find out about it last minute. I probably should have told you, but basically people that have like vlogs and, you know, like do social media things, plus people that are haunters, they opened up their haunted house. It's Woods of Terror in Greensboro, North Carolina. And it was a free event to everybody. So like they provided food, they provided drinks, alcoholic and non. We got to do a behind the scenes tour during the day, which took us hours to walk through their haunt. They have 14 shows. They are goals, goals, goals. They have a beautiful midway. They've got, you know, like the axe throwing, multiple bars, multiple foods. They've got a stage where a live band, the owner, I think he's living out his glory days. I love that for him as a rock star. He performs every single night, multiple times a night, Bone Daddy, and he's a freaking great guy.
Bone Daddy, that's cute.
Yeah, he actually like paints his face as a skull every night and like huge, like 3-foot mohawk that he paints red and like wears a leather jacket. He's like, again, goals. But so their venue, they're out on a farm. He married into
all Counting Crows, right? That's all he plays is just counting crows.
I mean, no,
a little bit of Creed, some Nickelback.
About it, I mean, not to like derail too much, but the crazy part about it is his band, like they have their own theme song for the haunt. Like one of their actors wrote a song for them, so he performs that song every night. They have original content. It's crazy, but again, so when I went out there that weekend, they did the behind the scenes and then they did regular, like full with actors, props, everything, full show for us that evening. And at one point they had one of the industry legends, Alan Hops. He owns his own company, Stiltby Studios, and they do actor training as well. So he was there to kind of talk to us, answer questions, and then they did kind of a breakout session where, you know, he let us all kind of interact and do some fun games and things like that, things that you can take back home to teach your actors, like, you know, timing or, you know, just character development, building their own, like, you know, because I personally stopped acting a while ago because I'm as big as my personality can be.
His knees is old.
The knees are old. Yeah. I think we talked about it on a past episode about me falling on those stilts a couple seasons ago. Did not recover from that.
That was last year.
But just started walking again.
Yes. The wheelchair, it's in the back. But yeah, so he did a bunch of breakout stuff with us that, you know, it wasn't much, but it was the groundwork, and he just kind of gave us tips, things that I could probably Google. And like I said, today, I actually listened to a separate podcast that focused this week, just so happened, on actor training. So I listened to that today while I was at work. Again, doing two things, killing two birds at one stone.
Sure.
So, yeah, putting together something for this weekend, and we'll probably do multiple runs of it, like this weekend for people that can make it, and then maybe one again next week when I'm off, something like that. But yeah, we definitely want to develop. Shelby actually ran up to North Carolina a couple days ago and actually bought like professional costumes, professional makeup, like things that
because they're so beautiful.
Things that are going to take our show hopefully to the next level in a way that, you know, we kind of brushed under the rug last minute kind of things last year. But this year we were like, hey.
We focused on it a little bit more than normal.
On a lot more. And again, what helped with that was not tearing down over half of the show and having to rebuild it. It's like add to the show.
But the show's different, so come out.
Yeah. Oh, the show's completely different. And that's the funny thing about guests. They're not going to remember from year to year what they saw. Like if you just come through one time in October, next year, we could honestly run the same show and I'm sure it'll be just as valuable, but we pride ourselves on that whole, you know,
switching
new
it up
experience every year, whether it's story, characters, whatever.
One of the things y'all did really cool last year that I liked, and I don't know that if it was on Thursday nights only. Well, Thursday nights was blackout nights that you had 2 blackout nights. But one of the other things you did was allowed us to go through with those little water beads.
Oh, that was a Valentine's Day show.
Was that a Valentine's Day?
But you were here for that one. And I think you actually like podcasted up for that one too. But yeah, he ran through like a psycho and
one guy wouldn't go down.
Oh God, that's our actor Brian.
Yeah. Beard and
that is he's actually like, and I would never tell him this, so he'll probably hear it on here, but he's one of my like favorite actors in here because as crazy as he is outside of here, putting that in here, it's amazing. There's not one job I've given him in here as an actor that he hasn't been able to turn into I gave him the living room, and there's not too much you can do with that as a scare factor. But my man was barefoot, jumping off of couches and clocks, just chasing these people through the haunt.
Not only that, he stuck with it enough for me to go out to where your ticketing area is and he let me shoot him for like 15 minutes.
Why would you shoot someone for 15 minutes?
Yeah, is this a him problem or a you problem? Like,
It was, you know
Oh
what?
my
It was probably work related. Is honestly
Okay.
is I
You're stressed.
letting
I
out a
get
little
it.
stress.
Well,
I like that.
But he was
We are
he
teetering,
seemed-
guys.
He what a nice guy just to let me sit there.
Well, he prides himself on being
Your
a
husband
big
took
bag.
a few shots too, just so you know. Alex let me shoot at him too. So,
And I, honestly, you were not going to get 15 minutes out of him.
no, it wasn't 15 minutes. We laughed a lot.
Yeah.
I laughed a lot.
Brian also loved it. Water beads don't hurt. They're like, y'all know. But
Yeah.
Joe.
just for 15 minutes is
I just
different.
remember the buckets and buckets
Mhm.
of water beads.
Those things, like, they're sensory, like, they're my thing.
But maybe we'll bring that back. Like, I've had a few people who did come through on that experience, like, do that. But to do that every show, one,
Oh,
causes
yeah.
a mess. Two, it's kind of pricey to have to get that many beads and send people through with them. But
How important is it for you all to, with the characters that you have in mind for the haunt, how important is it to match up the experience of the actors that you already have? Like, do you already have sort of in mind who it is that you want to play this role or that role?
yeah, and O'Shawn during our show, he's more focused on getting everything back here cut on, corrected, running the tests that we need to do before our show can open to make sure we don't have any like weird tech issues. So I deal with our actors, and we do have a lot of repeat actors, which is fantastic because we all become like family. That's what this is. That's why everyone keeps coming back for us.
And join us, our family.
We're real fun. But yes, there's like 3 or 4 spots that we've targeted as specific spots that we know they're going to be that I already have someone in mind for out of our pool that we already have. So it's not hard to match the personality with the character, if that's what you mean, especially because everyone here is very unique and different. So those quiet people coming to play with like your quick moving spots that you don't want a lot of noise out of, but those other spots where you got to rely on that heavy acting to carry the room sometimes. And we have the diversity in our actors to be able to do that. So we are very lucky as it comes to getting volunteers, because if I could pay them, I would. But I'm a nonprofit.
But one thing that we did talk about the other night, just when we were up here working, which I liked the idea, again, Shelby's idea, was instead of just pinpointing certain spots, like, yes, the story dictates, okay, for example, Mortimer being an older, like taller, gaunt, like person. We don't really have that person pegged. Like, I mean, I know who I want. I'm sure she does as well. But like, to find that person spot on is probably not going to be a thing. We'll try our best. However, other characters, I like the idea of being interchangeable. So even though it is this character, Shelby had mentioned possibly getting like a male and a female version of that costume, to where it's like, even though she's not here tonight, we can place this person here that, you know, can also fill that role and be similar, but like, okay, we're short girls tonight, we got guys, or vice versa. So
We can transition that character. You know what I'm saying?
Again, not going to get canceled here.
right.
So thank you. Well, I don't want to like do that kind of thing. But yeah, so coming up with
Making puns.
well, yeah, I don't want anyone to feel targeted. I'm sorry, I'm a people pleaser. But yeah, to have that character to where you can change it up from like whether you have someone who's perfect for the role or you have someone's personality that's perfect for the role, but it's like a 4'11" small female person. That way, I'm like, actually, I have a costume for you that's similar to that one. Let's go. So we haven't really focused on that ever in the past, because it's more like, well, we have to have some big hulking guy that can scare the bejesus out of someone in there. And it's like, or we do the opposite and give them like some weird tool that's going to make you think they're psychotic. So it's kind of fitting to them, but then fitting to it as well.
Yeah.
It feels like a good puzzle.
Diversity.
So let's say on a busy Friday night, because you have to think of every single time a new group comes through, that's a new show.
Mhm.
That's how many breaks do actors get to have during the night in order to maintain that level of energy?
So we do the rolling breaks, which I'm sure everyone who does haunting, they'll know exactly what that is. If it's a super heavy night, like, I mean, it's just a nonstop crowd, we'll run through and we'll put like a stagger in between the show of 2 or 3 minutes to cause that gap. Like, hey, what do you need? If you need it, go get it. Take like a breather, but then run right back, and we roll them through like that multiple times. And we don't stop the show in the middle. We used to, but we don't anymore because we actually have heavier foot traffic now. So if we did that, our patrons would be like, oh man, boo. So at the end of the night, we fill them up with food, dessert, drinks, whatever, and kind of take care of them at the end of the night, relax, talk about our nights, all that good stuff. But throughout the show, if it's a slower night, yeah, we'll give them time. Like, hey, we're going to take a 5-minute breather. If someone rolls in, we'll come get you, but stay out of the public view.
Yeah.
Go hide somewhere. But that's seldom. Like, it's not like that's not a normal all the time thing.
I've been here. You all have been busy. Like the last few years, it has been exceptionally busy.
So one positive COVID gave us is people are ready to do stuff.
Did I hear we need another COVID? I was.
Can we do it like
COVID
in
light.
March?
COVID light.
Yeah.
Can we
But-
pick the people to get COVID? I'm sorry.
I thought we weren't getting political.
We're not. Cut that.
The entrance to the haunt this year has moved again because
I like the way you said that.
I do because it makes us sound like a roundabout over here.
Yeah, no, I think it makes it sound like the space is versatile. There
That
is the
entrance has
opportunity
changed a million times.
Yeah.
Used to be those double doors. And to the people only listening, I'm pointing to different wings of the building. Those single doors, like we've run people in and out of this place every which way. And again, that kind of comes down to whatever the theme and however. So with the house being the focus this year, it only made sense to bring them in on that side of the building. That way they're not running through all of this stuff first, because storytelling wise, that just really wouldn't make sense. But when we had the barn here in the back, then it was like, all right, bring them through the barn. Midway, they get to the house and then whatever. So it just depends on what we're doing that year.
A lot of fog this year.
Was there a lot of fog last year? Oh, we got to order fog.
Gotta order fog.
Sensitive.
Thank
Goodness.
you. Thank you for reminding us. And that's what I'm going to take this as.
I love the fog. I think the fog.
To preface, last year he went through and couldn't see. So
Yeah, I might have got a little overzealous with that machine right up top. Again, for those listening, I'm pointing upward. Yeah, that machine, because here's what happens. At the beginning of the night, we have all the doors to the side of the buildings open. So it's like I start the show before we start the show.
Sure.
And then the fog won't really like fill up in the way I need it to. So then I'll like
he'll go upstairs and be like,
go ham, but then I'll get pulled to the side right when it's time to like open, and no one else realized that I've cranked that machine to 100. And then everyone's like, oh, we can't see anything. And it's like we open in 2 minutes. So that's probably what you experienced.
It was fantastic.
okay.
I-
Was it?
I
It was like 20 kids vaping in here. It's wild.
Well, honestly, that might save us on some fog.
Mhm.
I could breathe. That wasn't an issue.
Oh, okay.
But see, I really enjoyed the one room from a few years ago where it was just the entire room was filled up with fog, and like,
You will not let that room die.
no,
Mm.
I'd like to see it again. How can we make that happen?
Oh, there's a
'Cause
white
it's-
room right out there.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say it's on the table for this year. So either it's going to happen or it's not. This
Yeah.
might be the final resting year of that room.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, you know.
I thought you were going to mention Dylan again. I
No,
that's
I've,
where you're going
I've
with
had
that.
a few conversations with Dylan. Hey, Dylan. Outside of the group.
Oh, so you've got your fill of him.
No.
Oh.
I love Dylan. I think Dylan's
You're done
fantastic.
with
He,
little people now.
he and his wife are awesome. Their child is, they're doing very well, and I know that he has mostly retired from doing this, but I can think of some spots when we were walking through of places where I think Dylan would be appropriate.
Not you casting our own our show for it.
So keep that
You might
up.
wanna
Put him on
bring
the
I
spot.
was about to say you might want to bring him in as an assistant.
I don't have time.
Oh,
I love that for you. Neither do we.
I'm about to
Safe
start producing
boundaries.
y'all's
We
next
make time.
podcast.
That
that's
is
fair.
true. And we are plugging that podcast at the end of this one. So keep listening.
That's right.
Well, think of a name on the way.
This year, are there any challenges that you all see that you have already identified that you want to make sure are not going to be challenges for next year?
Well, one that we face every year, which it's not so much like I'm always pleasantly surprised, and I don't know why, because our actors are very dedicated to us, but we always worry about volunteers because going into it, it's, we're volunteers. No one's required to be here. Like, we're not required to be here. We just do it for some reason.
'Cause we're insane.
Yeah, but they're not. So I always get nervous. I'm like, God, if they don't come back this year, or like, because then we're dressing up and hopping room to room at that
Right.
point. But this show's going on, no matter what. So That's one of mine that I identify every year. I'm like, how can we make it better next year? But that's a revolving door because you never know with your people.
But also to anyone listening, if you know anybody that would like to volunteer and be an actor, by all means.
Zach and I have a bet every year for Carolina Panthers and Atlanta Falcons football. And one of the costs of that bet that I was trying to come up with for Zach this year was that I was going to, if he lost both games, I was going to say that he had to volunteer for a weekend.
He's getting the dress.
Well, Carolina's got to lose both of their games against
Panthers.
the Falcons. Yeah, it's almost a done deal.
Yeah,
it's almost a done deal. But I went a different direction, which we haven't discussed on the podcast yet. But let's just say it involves all the people in our fantasy football league betting on how fast Zach can run a 440 or a 40-yard dash. So we'll see.
Zach, get to it, man. Practice.
So, but no, I'm always just astounded at the amount of work that goes into everything that you all do, and the gratification is really only a month long. Like, does that
as we both grab our extremities.
I mean, seriously though, but that has to have like every year that has to have some sort of an impact on.
It doesn't. Like when people come out of here, right? And especially people we know, because like I'm from here. I see people I know all the time. When they come out and they know what we do, they see my Snapchats and stuff all year long where it's like there's nothing here and then there's this here. They come through and like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, where in your mind are you coming up with these ideas? And it's like, nightmares, horror movies, I don't know. And they're just like, I could never do that. And it's like, well, anyone can do it. It's actually really easy. Like to be my own worst critic. I'm like, this, like, I feel like I could do more if I had more to put into it. So that was one of our biggest like epiphanies this year was stepping outside and I was like, damn, we do a good job. Like, why are we always shitting on ourselves? But that's I think probably the biggest thing that we get out of it is people are just like, y'all did that? And it's like, just us did this.
Which to like kind of piggyback on that is my like fear this year, because now at work, so my supervisor, like big supervisor, she'll be in meetings and just be like, hey, remember O'Shawn does a haunted house? And then like everyone in the room pipes up and is like, we didn't know that. That's really cool. We're definitely coming this year. And then that puts an instant fear in me because now I'm like, well, now I have to, not that the show wouldn't always be great, but then it's like that added pressure of, I have to see you every day. And then now like, you'll be the constant.
Here's to working like O'Shawn. That show is real cute. O'Shawn's gonna drive that Coke truck off a bridge.
Or the opposite direction. That was dark. Right. You know.
Like, what kind of judging are you gonna get?
Yeah. So I guess it's 50-50, but yeah, that's the ultimate driving factor is not, I guess, yes, to impress, but then also like we are impressing ourselves for, I won't say the first time, but like this year, just being
reignited.
Super proud of a lot of stuff. So
yeah. Well, I know we have another plan to have next week's episode of you all walking us through, and we're going to set up in different rooms that you want to show off. So we're going to do that in the next episode.
Go get your dress on.
But basically, I just want to remind everybody. So the website is hallofhorrors.org. You can get tickets online. Is that the preferable way of handling that?
Yes, purchasing online is absolutely the best way. It helps us follow our numbers for sure. Because again, as a nonprofit, we do have to watch that. So online, if you can, but we can take you at the door.
Yeah. What is have we settled on ticket prices this year?
Yeah, we're staying at $15 because again, as a nonprofit, like we do have the luxury of doing that because while everything else is going up, like we do this for the people, you know, so we want them to still be able to enjoy it and bring a family out to enjoy it because we're family friendly in the sense of if you have weird kids that want to come through here too.
A lot of us have weird kids.
I believe you.
A fact.
But yeah, we just want to keep that affordability to it. So
that's great. I know years past there was a VIP possibility. What is that again this year?
Yes, I'm working on the price right now just because I think last year's price was a little
low.
No, I think it was too much actually.
Really?
Yeah. It just
breaking news, because I've never heard. I'm usually fighting for less, so
Well,
this is news.
to have the option of like, hey, is it worth doing a VIP, like to get to the front of the line or skip the line or whatever like that? Like, either there's a way I'm going to zhuzh up that price for that ticket, or there's a way I'm going to bring that price down for that ticket. So I don't know which one yet. We get to decide.
I
just
vote
don't know.
zhuzh up the value versus lowering the price, because again, it makes it too accessible in a way that like devalues it in and of itself.
Sure.
If that makes sense. It's kind of like Halloween Horror Nights.
Ticket and a t-shirt. And
Well, I was going to say, we'll talk after this. Shut up.
Wow. All right. Well, we're going to send it back to the studio in just a second, but really want to thank you guys for sitting down with me and talking about the Hall of Horrors again. This is one of the things that I look forward to every year. Before we go back to the studio, I just want to remind everybody, O'Shawn can't bend his fingers, or he can't straighten his fingers.
Here I am thinking this was going to be a swing.
Like a sentinel.
I should have known.
Special thanks to O'Shawn and Shelby, the gurus at the Hall of Horrors in Casey, West Columbia, put on, of course, by the Casey, West Columbia Jaycees. Very much appreciate them sitting down with me and talking about the haunt this year, talking about what goes through the whole process, everything, in order to bring this haunted attraction to life every October. So October, the first week in October, they're going to open tickets at the door or online. You can check that out. You can buy your tickets early. It'll help you get through the line a little quicker, so do that. All right. Again, thanks, big thanks to Shelby and O'Shawn for being on the podcast again. Next episode, we're going to do a walkthrough of the Hall of Horrors prior to the episode, or just prior to the event opening. So make sure to stick around. That episode will drop next Monday, so make sure to check that out. It's going to do it for this episode number 274. Thank you again for everybody listening. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available on our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become a member? You can support the show by checking out the webpage, members.theallaboutnothing.com. You can find out there's exclusive content. You get early access to episodes, including this episode. So do that. If you can't do that, you can also give a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533, or you can email the show at theallaboutnothing.com. You can also join our Discord server. There are links found on our webpage. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. You all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Big Media and produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow Everything Cake, the band, at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff, the producer, for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the Producer. You can follow me across social media by visiting Linktree/Barrett Gruber. And you can follow Zach King on Linktree/AAN Zach. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. To find links to our social media, podcast platforms, and merchandise to support the show, as well as past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can call our number and leave a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our sister shows. What the Pod Was That with Carrie, Zach, and myself. Welcome to Wonderland with Ami. Politically Speaking with Erica, Kirsten, and Emily. And Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks and Bill Kimmler. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and punch that notification bell. Thank you for listening, and hear us next week. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.